Welcome to another edition of the Goal Post. I'm your host, Oluwamayawa. There's a lot of football to talk about. It's an European week from the Champions League games that took place yesterday to the Europa League games and Conference League games that will be coming up today. Let's get into it. It was an impressive performance for Bayern Munich yesterday, dispatching Bayern Leverkusen 3-0. Bayern Leverkusen could not get their rhythm. Harry Kane ended a four-goal scoring drought by netting two goals, including a penalty, showcasing his attacking prowess. Jamal Musiala was also on song yesterday. He was gifted a goal by Bayern Leverkusen's goalkeeper, Matej Kova, who made a horrible mistake who dropped the ball and allowing Jamal Musiala to score the goal. Leverkusen's Nodi Mukele received the red card, reducing them to 10 men and compounding their challenges. It was an interesting game yesterday. We saw the likes of Harry Kane scoring two goals. Jamal Musiala was in spectacular form yesterday. Was dictating the pace of the game. Was very instrumental in ensuring that Bayern Munich secured the victory. With this 3-0 lead, Bayern Munich goes into the second half with a three-goal advantage, pushing them a step further into the quarterfinals. It was an interesting performance. Xabi Alonso, who has not lost to Bayern Munich since he has taken over the role at Bayern Leverkusen, had a very terrible day at the office. Everything he was putting together yesterday, Vincent Kompany and the boys, they had an answer to it, and it was an impressive performance for a Bayern Munich team. Bayern Munich dominated that particular game from start to finish. They dominated in terms of possession. They dominated in terms of shots on target. They dominated in terms of shot on goal, and it was really an all-round performance for Vincent Kompany's boys. A lot of people might have said the jury is out for Vincent Kompany in terms of, is he a Champions League? Is he worthy to be coaching a team like a Bayern Munich side? However, the performance of yesterday was an indication that he deserves his place. He deserves his place as a top coach in Europe. The performance was very scintillating. He was able to play Bayern Leverkusen hands down, and Xabi Alonso could not provide a valuable answer to all the barrage of attacks from Bayern Munich. As it is now, it seems we might be seeing Bayern Munich in the quarterfinal, and a whole lot of pundits have been tipping them to probably have the edge in terms of going further in the Champions League. A lot of people have been saying, with the performance of yesterday, there is an indication that they might be one of the top contenders to look at in this season's Champions League. The question has always been, does Vincent Kompany possess the quality to be able to guide Bayern Munich to a Champions League trophy? Well, it seems the performance of yesterday is an indication of that. Does that change the season? Does that change the perception? Does that change the perception of people on Vincent Kompany? Well, the jury is still out on him. A whole lot of people, are still. A whole lot of people do not still believe that Vincent Kompany is the right man for the job. Moving forward, we saw Barcelona go away to Benfica yesterday. It was an interesting match, and it was a Wednesday of red cards. There was a red card in the game, in the Bayern Munich game. Also, there was a red card in the Barcelona game. Barcelona was reduced to 10 men in the 22nd minute when Paul Kubasi was red carded. I was wondering what he was thinking, that he would commit himself. He would commit himself in that kind of challenge that would lead to him being red carded. However, Benfica was on the verge of scoring, and as a last man, if you commit any foul that impedes a goal scoring opportunity, a goal scoring chance, you will definitely be red carded. Barcelona's Rafinha scored a decisive goal in the 61st minute with a powerful shot from outside the box, despite Pau Kubasi's red card in the 22nd minute, reducing Barcelona to 10 men. They maintained their lead. Goalkeeper Szczesny delivered the stellar performance, making a crucial save to preserve Barcelona's advantage. I mean, that particular game, was Szczesny was the man of the match. Was Szczesny was the reason why Barcelona could come away with a victory in that particular game. After that record, it was a done and dusted game. They continued to Benfica continued to pile up the pressure. They had a whole lot of chances. They had a whole lot of shot on target. But Szczesny, decided to turn himself to a prime Gianluigi Buffon. I mean, it was everywhere. He was very instrumental in ensuring that Barcelona could come away with that particular victory. The goal that Rafinha scored was a mistake from Benfica, throwing a pass carelessly and giving the pass away to Rafinha, who was very alert and was able to take the opportunity to fire a low shot pass at the Benfica goalkeeper. As it is now, Barcelona goes into the second leg with a 1-0 advantage. However, it's still very close to call because it's just a 1-0 lead, and we've seen multiple times in the Champions League that even a 3-4-0 goal advantage might not count in the second leg if the other team shows up and they show up and they are counted. If they show up and they put in the performance, we've seen teams turn around 3-goal deficit and end up winning. So as Flick's boys, they go away in that particular game with a 1-0 lead, with a very slim lead. However, kudos to Hansi Flick. He was able to mastermind Barcelona winning that particular game, despite the fact that they had to play over 78 minutes with one man less. Kudos to Hansi Flick and kudos to Barcelona. Well, let's move over to the giant killers of us in the Champions League. Feyenoord did not have a good day yesterday. Feyenoord was instrumental in kicking out one of the Italian teams in the Champions League. They were very instrumental in kicking out an Italian team in the knockout phase. And a whole lot of people felt they might probably do the magic again against an Inter Milan side. However, it seems Van Persie's men could not, contain the attacking might of Inter Milan. With Marcus Thuram opening the scoring and Lautaro Martinez, sealing up the tile with a fantastic goal in the second half. Marcus Thuram opened the scoring for Inter, demonstrating a clinical finish, while Lautaro Martinez added the second goal, giving Inter a significant advantage ahead of the return leg. It seems the coach change for Feyenoord did not do them any good. Remember, Van Persie was appointed about 9 days ago, and if you are bringing in a new coach before his philosophy sits in, before the players are able to understand his philosophy, before the players are able to adapt to his style, it's going to take it's going to take a bit of time. I would have expected that the hierarchy at Feyenoord would have probably allowed the coach to oversee the Champions League game. And one of the reasons why the coach was fired was because Feyenoord was performing poorly in the Eredivisie. However, bringing in a Van Persie, at this very crucial stage of the Champions League, I don't think is a good idea. We saw the performance yesterday, and the performance was very, very was below par. Feyenoord hardly created any chance, and the closest they got to probably scoring in that particular game was when they had a penalty shout, which was overruled by Vieira. They lacked quality yesterday. They didn't show up. The same Feyenoord that was able to eliminate one of the Italian giants did not show up yesterday, and a lot of people are tying to the fact that the coach is just arriving. There's a whole lot that needs to be put in place before they're able to get their rhythm. A typical example of this is Borussia Dortmund. I mean, Borussia Dortmund fired their coach in the course of the Champions League and brought in a Nico Kovac. Since then, the result has not been stable. The result has not been consistent. There has been a bit of inconsistency, and the reason for that is before a coach will settle down and before the players will understand their style of play, their reading, before they will understand how they want to file out, it's going to take some time. So, and as it is now, I don't think Feyenoord, they have the luxury of time in the Champions League. They go into the second leg with a two goal deficit, and remember they are going to Italy. They are going to they are going to the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium in Italy, which is a very intimidating ground for an away team. As it is now, it seems the momentum has swung to the Inter Milan side, and Lautaro Martinez and Marcus Thuram, they are two strikers that I don't think they are relenting anytime soon. I think as far as this tie is concerned, I think we might probably see Inter Milan moving forward to the next round of the Champions League. Another, we'll close out the talks on the Champions League with the game against PSG, Liverpool. Liverpool won that particular game, scoring in the 87th minute. A decisive goal was scored by Harvey Elliott in the 87th minute to ensure that Liverpool won that particular game. Liverpool struggled in that particular game. They had 0 shot on target. The only shot on target they had was the one from Harvey Elliott. They played 87 minutes without any shot on target. However, if you look at the stats, PSG had over 71% of possession, meaning they had the ball to themselves. Liverpool was defending, and you want to give kudos to Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique was very, very, his tactics was spot on yesterday. He was able to cage the likes of Salah, able to cage the likes of Darwin Núñez and just yes, Darwin Núñez was very instrumental in providing an assist for Harvey Elliott. However, not until Harvey Elliott came in, that was when they were able to score. Even the goal was a mistake from Donnarumma. I think Donnarumma should have done better in that particular with that particular save. He should have been able to save that particular that particular shot from Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott scored the only goal of the match, securing a valuable away win for Liverpool. Liverpool's goalkeeper Alisson delivered a outstanding performance, making numerous saves to frustrate PSG's attacker. PSG struggled to break down Liverpool's defense, facing a challenge in converting their possession into goals. Yes, that's true. Van Dijk was very, very fantastic in that particular game. He was there to disrupt any move from Ousmane Dembele. He was there to disrupt any any chance from Ousmane Dembele. Also, Alisson Becker was in top form yesterday. That's one of the reasons why he's the number one for Brazil. That's one of the reasons why he's the number one for Liverpool. He showed up in that particular game. Alisson was also very, very instrumental in ensuring that Liverpool did not go home empty-handed. Luis Enrique, outplayed that in his slot. These are one of the games you would expect. These are one of the games that Arne Slot got exposed. I mean, Luis Enrique's tactics was spot on. Apart from the mistake that led to the goal, I think the result of this particular game is so unfair. I think PSG deserves the victory. I mean, they toiled and they played so well that you would expect them to win. However, one of the hallmark of a team that probably go far in competitions is even when you play bad, you end up grinding out the result, and that is what Liverpool did yesterday, defending so well and ensuring they nick it when it was most important. Find their footing in the next game. PSG will have to find their footing in the next game. It's just a 1 goal deficit, and I think there's still a whole lot to play for in the second leg of the champion in the second leg of that particular fixture. I mean, it's just a one goal. It's just a one goal margin, and consistently we have seen teams turn around. Even a bigger goal margin. We've seen teams turn around a three-goal margin. It's just a one-goal margin. If PSG approach the second leg the same way they approach the first leg, I think they'll probably have a shot at probably knocking off a Liverpool side. Liverpool struggled in that particular game, and it showed how tactically sound Luis Enrique is. I mean, a whole lot of people did not give PSG the opportunity, the chance to get to this particular stage, owing to the fact that when the group phase of the league started, they struggled a whole lot. They couldn't cut it. They were struggling in front of goals. However, it seems Luis Enrique has been able to turn that around, and he has been able to ensure that the team is scoring freely now. Ousmane Dembele is showing up to be counted. A whole lot of PSG players are showing up to be counted. They've continued to win consistently. Yeah, they've continued to dispatch team with reckless abandon. Remember how they dispatched Brest, dispatching them 10-0, shows how free-flowing their attack. Shifting gears, a whole lot of games will be played in the Europa League today. We have Manchester United facing off against Real Sociedad. It has been an interesting week. It has been an uneventful week for Manchester United, getting knocked out of the FACup, which probably reduces their chance of playing in Europe next season. The only opportunity Manchester United have in featuring in Europe next season is probably by winning the Europa League, and the game against Real Sociedad will be a determinant factor in if they will progress to the quarterfinal or not. Manchester United aims to revive their season through the Europa League, especially after recent domestic setback, including FACup exit to Fulham. Injuries plague United, with key players like Amad Diallo, Mason Mount, and Luke Shaw sidelined, causing a challenge in the squad depth. Rest of that midfield dynamo Martin Zubimendi faces a fitness test, potentially impacting their control in the center of the park. It's going to be an interesting game. Manchester United has been struggling for form. They've been really struggling. They were kicked out of the FA Cup by Fulham, and that has dented their opportunity to be able to qualify for Europe via the FA Cup. It is very important for Manchester United to see if they'll be able to win this particular game, because if they do not win this game and progress to the next round, it means Manchester United will not be featuring in Europe. The result under Ruben Amorim has not been that fantastic. I mean, he has played over 14 games, and the win ratio is very, very small. In the last 16 games, he has been able to win only 4 of those rather, and drawing a couple and losing a whole lot, and that has shattered the confidence of Manchester United going into this particular game compared to the rest of the side that is emerging, with a whole lot of that's emerging and has a whole lot to offer. I mean, this is an avenue for a Real Sociedad side who is currently in form to be able to go past, to probably to go past a Manchester United side. A lot of people might say Manchester United ended up finishing as part of the top 8 in the Europa League. However, the recent performance has shown that Manchester United are struggling to be able to be consistent. The consistency in terms of winning games is not there, and that is the reason why a whole lot of Manchester United faithful are not, a lot of Manchester United faithful are not satisfied with the performance, and are also not confident in the fact that Manchester United will be able to overcome a Real Sociedad side. Shifting gears, Tottenham also will be facing an AZ Alkmaar. AZ Alkmaar is one of the top teams in the Europa League. Tottenham's recent away form has been impressive, but they faced a formidable opponent in AZ who has been strong at home. Both teams have potent attacks, suggesting a high-scoring affair could be on the cards. Yes, one of the things that Tottenham, um, have been doing consistently in the Europa League is they are one of the teams that score goals with reckless abandon. Yes, their form at home has been very terrible. Um, you want to say that the inconsistency we have seen in the EPL is a major concern for Tottenham. Also, Tottenham has been battling with a whole lot of injury concerns. I mean, there's a whole lot of injury concerns on the part of Tottenham. They've had to bring in players from the academy owing to the fact that a whole lot of their key players are out. However, they face an AZ Akma that has been very strong at home. They are one of the few teams in the Europa League that has not lost any single game at home. And the Tottenham traveling away to AZ Akma might probably prove too much for them, owing to the fact that they've been a bit consistent in the league, and also there has been a bit of inconsistency in how there have been a bit of inconsistency in the players that feature for them, owing to the fact that a whole lot of them, are currently injured. But in any case, the game will be very, very interesting. You have a Tottenham Hotspur that is scoring with reckless abandon in the Europa League versus a team that has a very good record at home. Um, it's going to be an interesting game, and I'm always looking forward to seeing how Ange Postecoglou will be able to file out against a high flying AZ Akma at home. Let's shift gears to the special one. Jose Mourinho will be facing off against Rangers. Fenerbahce will be facing off against Rangers at home. It will be an interesting match. Fenerbahce has a very strong home presence. They are one of the few teams that also have not lost any game at home. Fenerbahce strong home record poses a significant challenge for Rangers. Rangers aim to secure a positive result to take back to the Ibrox for the second leg. However, the thing is Jose Mourinho has done it. He's one of the few coaches that has won all the cups in Europe. Remember, he has the Champions League. He has 2 Champions League to his name, 2 Europa League to his name, and also the first coach to win the Conference League. So, making him the only coach in Europe at the moment that has won all the 3 UEFA tournaments, and which makes him, which puts him high there. He's a coach that knows how to win the Europa League. This is not his first rodeo in the Europa League. He also got into the Europa League final with Roma, losing out in the final due to a bad refereeing decision in that particular game. However, he faces off against a Rangers side that is coming up and hopes to be able to replicate what they did in the in the late 60s. It's going to be an interesting game with Jose Mourinho trying to have one up against the Rangers coach. Shifting gears to another team that's very impressive. Remember last season, they were almost on the verge of getting relegated in their league. That is Ajax against Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt are also winners of they are also winners in Europe. They are one of the teams that were very, very impressive in a couple of years ago when they won the Europa League. It's going to be an interesting game. Ajax has been very, very impressive owing to the fact that, owing to their form, in the Dutch Eredivisie, they've been very, very impressive. And this match promises to spark up a whole lot of, a whole lot of fireworks. I mean, both teams have rich European history, promising an exciting encounter. Ajax attacking flair meets Frankfurt's robust defense. Frankfurt is one of the best defensive side in the Europa League this season. They've been very, very impressive with their defense. You would expect that their defense will probably show up against a high scoring, a high flying a high flying Ajax side who has been very, very impressive, who has been scoring goals with reckless abandon. This was a side that was almost on the verge of relegation last season, and they've been able to turn things around, ensuring that um, you know, ensuring that they go further. The question is this: would the firepower of Ajax be too much for the defensive might of Eintracht Frankfurt? Remember, Eintracht Frankfurt is not a stranger in this particular competition. They've won it before, and they have an opportunity to be able to do it again. Shifting gears to a lot of people will say the lesser competition in Europe. However, it's still an European competition. It's still very, very important. Shifting gears to um, the Conference League. A whole lot of people have decided to. A lot of people have said, I think the Conference League is for Chelsea to lose. However, I think I disagree. There are still a whole lot of quality sides left in the Conference League. One of them is FC Copenhagen, who will be, who will be facing off against Chelsea later today. It promises to be an interesting match. Chelsea will be going away to Denmark to face FC Copenhagen, and you know, Copenhagen might be one of the giant killers. If you look at the Chelsea team, they possess a whole lot of quality to be able to dispatch a Copenhagen team. However, in recent times, Chelsea they've not been able to um, deliver when it matters most in terms of scoring goals. One of the major challenges that Chelsea has faced in recent time is the fact that they don't have a striker, that could deliver for them, and that is one of the things that they've been struggling with, you know, in the league. A lot of people why you would say the league is different from the Conference League. The Conference League is a different ball game entirely. However, I think um, you need a whole lot of players, you need a lot of practice for you to be able to do it. Chelsea has been very fantastic in the Conference League. They've been dispatching teams with reckless abandon, beating teams 7-0, 5-0, and the rest of that. I think the least goal they've scored in the Conference League is 2 goals, and which gives a whole lot of people confidence in the fact that Chelsea has the ability to be able to dispatch a Copenhagen side. Chelsea, under the guidance of Enzo Maresca, enters the round of 16 with an impeccable group stage record, aiming to assert dominance in the competition. FC Copenhagen, having advanced past the playoff, looks to capitalize on home form and home advantage to challenge the English giant. Well, it's going to be an interesting game. You have a Chelsea who has a very commanding performance. Chelsea were one of those teams that, Chelsea were one of those teams that was able to deliver in the group stage of the Conference League. They were one of those teams that were scoring goals with reckless abandon. And the reason for that is very simple. Um, they have the luxury to rotate players. A whole lot of teams in the Conference League do not have the depth of squad that Chelsea has, and that's the reason why they've been able to do that. For FC Copenhagen, they are one of the defensive sides in the Conference League. However, will they be able to defend against the attacking mind of Chelsea? And that is what FC Copenhagen will be hoping for today. It's going to be an interesting game, but as it is with the firepower of Chelsea, I think Chelsea should be able to nick it. Let's go to another interesting game in the Conference League, and that's between Aston Villa. That's between Fiorentina and Athens. It's going to be an interesting game. The game will be played in the Olympico Stadium in Greece. That's against Panathinaikos. Um, Panathinaikos are also giant killers. Remember their run in the Conference League and in the Europa League. Fiorentina featuring experienced players like David De Gea seeks to overcome past European disappointment. Panathinaikos, boosted by key players like Ruben Perez, aim to leverage home support to gain an advantage. Well, there's a Fiorentina who is emerging back in Europe. It's been a while. We've seen a Fiorentina team that is as good as this. You have a former Manchester United goalkeeper in the person of De Gea manning the post for them. And since he has joined Fiorentina, it seems he has been able to improve the standing of Fiorentina, pulling out saves and ensuring that Fiorentina win game and probably do not struggle a whole lot in games. However, for Panathinaikos, they've been very impressive. First of all, we got to start hearing about them from the Conference League now to the Europa League. Now they are back in the Conference League, and they've been able to create some kind of history around them owing to their recent performance in European competitions. But in any case, the game is going to be very, very, very interesting. We look forward to those particular games. If you are watching, I want you to comment, share your thoughts on the games that we played today, and you could also predict. And when we come back, we would also take your comment on this particular show. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Oluwamayawa signing out.